So you have all these amazing performances, but then of course it all comes back and ties back to the actual music itself. And recently you did the Phunkin Trybe Interludes project, which is very unorthodox on many levels. But let's start with one of the interesting things is Freddie Foxxx is part of this as well. So how and why did you guys connect?
Man, I've been a huge fan of Bumpy Knuckles. Freddie Foxxx, I don't know which one he's predominantly going by these days, but Bumpy Knuckles, we're talking Gangstar.
Yeah.
Huge fan, shout out to DJ Premier, rest in peace, Guru, the whole Gangstar Foundation. And I was really flattered and honored that I even got on his radar. And I think I got on his radar during the time when I first started working with Pete Rock and the Soul Brothers. I was the musical director for the Soul Brothers. Shout out, to Pete Rock and the opportunity. And we have been doing like live streaming. We did Summer Stage, and this was during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I remember that time, and a lot of eyes, a lot of people saw us because it was a tiny desk. I mean, it was Summer Stage, and it was live streamed through Amazon. So everybody was tapped in, So I think Bumpy saw me, and one day I get a tag on an Instagram video, and it was Bumpy in the studio. He had sampled my drums.
Oh, wow.
And he mentioned my name, and I'm like, what? How did I even get on Bumpy's radar? Because I'm such a fan. And then, like all other people, I'm always very responsive to people that message me. I had to, start like filtering out because people kind of take liberties, man. Once they find out you that guy, it's like you get all kinds of DMs. But anyway, I remember we started messaging each other through DM, and I was like, yo, like let's build, and we stayed in touch. And I know Bumpy is very private and very meticulous, so for us to even be on the phone talking, I was honored because I just respect what he's done for the community. And I know he don't just collaborate with anybody.
No,
you know what I'm saying? And he took a liking to me. He liked my spirit, and we just felt like we've been knowing each other for a long time. So he felt trusting, and we just started emailing each other's tracks. And then eventually he was working on some things, and he was like, man, I would like to one day play with a live band. And I remember at the time, I was working with Mono Neon, who was also a member of the Soul Brothers. We had been in the studio heavy, and I was like, yo, I'm driving to Memphis to get in the studio with Mono. And he was like, yo, I would love it if you and Mono can, get together and recut some of the production that I've done and make it live. And so Mono was down in the studio, and we just was in the studio. We just was recutting the same thing what we did with the Soul Brothers record. Mm-hmm. Basically, that album was Piecementals, and Pete wanted to have us. He had us replay interpolations of pre-produced stuff that he did.
Right.
He wanted to, have this live band, and we did that, and the same. That's what Bumpy Knuckles. He had a bunch of tracks he was sitting on that was done with vocals, and me and Mono, we went and replayed it, and then I was like, yo, it was like 3 a.m. and we recorded at Elvis Presley Studios. It was Sun Records.
Sun Records?
So we did a session at Sun Records. Shout out to my brother, I forgot his name, the two brothers that did the session. Good friends of mine. I'm just having a memory blank. But yeah, it was like 3 a.m. and I was like, Mono, we should just make some beats in between that can go in between the Bumpy Knuckles tracks. And then the crazy thing happened. Bumpy Knuckles' hard drive failed. Like he lost all the files.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's bad.
That was bad. And ironically, he said me and Mono, we were able to get the files that me and Mono did as far as the drums because they were done in a studio. So I was like, man, at the top of, might have been 22, Bumpy, he was just heartbroken, man. He went off the grid. Like I normally would call him and he would pick up, but he was not responsive. He was tight. I tried to encourage him. But anyway, I remember one day I was going through my computer and I ran into that folder on my desktop, and I was like, man, it'd be dope if Bumpy could put some lyrics. So I just hit him up. I was like, yo, I know we lost the files, but we got these live short interlude beats that we made. I was like, it'd be dope if you add some lyrics. So Bumpy, he did it in one night.
Oh, wow.
Sent it back to top of the AM. That's how he's always been. Like, when we send files back, his return time is just like how
that's quick.
That's quick. I work the same way. People know that. They know when they send me tracks, I'm gonna send it right. The return time is quick, and so I was surprised you sent it back. And I was like, man, we got to put this out. And then that's how that came about, the Phunkin Trybe, and that was his idea. We were shooting around ideas for a song, and he was like, man, I want to just do a live band project so we could perform. Because he said I've never performed with a live band.
Yeah.
So originally, the first track that we did before that one, it's a track that is called "Are We Really Free?" That's going to be on my solo album. That's hopefully wrapping up. The name of the track is called "Are We Really Free?" and it features Jametta Rose, who is an LA amazing vocalist. And originally we wanted Jametta to be a part of the group, but you know she's doing her thing with her choir, so we keep it moving. So I was like, Bumpy, let's just put these interludes out as a pregame. And Bumpy was able to find some of the mixes from the lost hard drive.
Oh.
So hopefully the real files
That'll
those
pop up.
tracks are killing, because we got KRS-One, we got Xzibit, it's some crazy joints.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully, stay tuned. I think Bumpy was able to retrieve some of that stuff, but yeah, that's pretty much how it came about. We just wanted to have like a pregame, because when you have a new collaboration situation, sometimes people don't find out about it till later.
Right.
Same with like the 13 project, like Pharaoh Munch, and he actually had to attach his name to the project so he wouldn't lose the fan base.
Right.
Because when you have a new group, people are like, sometimes it take longer. If you
Well,
had a
I'll say
machine.
the 13 is one of the best albums of that year, 2021, and I got to interview Pharaoh for that project, so we're going to get into that in a second.
Okay.
But back to the Phunkin Trybe Interludes, because one song, the No Love for You, I was really intrigued by that, because seeing you perform in person, listening to a lot of your other records you've done throughout your career, generally speaking, the drums are usually very much in the foreground. And No Love for You, it's much more in the background. So how, as working with Freddie Foxxx, Bumpy Knuckles, and the crew, how did you guys decide to make the percussion more in the background instead of the foreground?
That's a good question. I mean, like I said, them interludes were crafted and produced by me and Mono Neon. We understand making beats like that, so we just made it. And Bumpy is not only a dope lyricist, he's also an amazing producer.
And a mixer and engineer.
And engineer, he actually mixed and mastered the record.
I know.
Bumpy is that dude, and he's humble, and he's been through a lot of things. So that entire, if y'all listen to them lyrics, those are true stories. Everything Bumpy's talking about, he talked about losing the hard drive, all of the things, I think on that, and he made a record called Industry Straight Shakedown, and he exposed some things. So
yes,
this Phunkin Trybe Interludes, he just everything that was going on in his life, he shared it. But as far as that track, Freddie is versatile. He's a versatile MC. He's not one dimensional. That's why we vibe. And the same with my drumming. He can rap on anything and make it funky. And what I like about the record is the interludes. We have a reggae. It's like a genre bending.
It's very diverse for being short.
Yeah, it's like,
because the count is like also very different sonically on there. It's more
Right.
meditative, kind of more spiritual, I guess you want to say.
Yep.
Per se. So when you're, as a producer, as a performer, as a musician, when is that a type of thing you guys determine ahead of time, or is it more spontaneous?
No, we live by the spirit.
Okay.
We going by the universe. I'm a believer. I believe, in Christ. You know what I'm saying? But musically, we letting the energy, the universe tell
play
us.
through you?
Yeah,
play
that's
through you?
that's all of that. It's no preconceived. Even some of the beats, I just started playing drums, and then Mono would add a bass line. So that's why some of the records you hear the drums playing by itself, that's real. That's just me playing. And then Mono's like, oh, okay, let me add something to complement what you're playing. So that's the whole project. That's how I work.
Oh, wow.
That's how we all work, and that's why it's coming from Honest Place. And I hope people really get to experience. It's a beautiful record, and it came from Honest Place. And Bumpy don't work with everybody, so this is special. Like, this is a real special project, and we actually got a full visual that a good friend of mine, Jason J-Rock, is from New York. I've been working with him for a long time. We didn't put it out yet, but I wanted to release it last year to celebrate the 50th anniversary, which actually we did. We did a limited cassette version, and then this year, just wanted to let the digitals rock, because everybody don't have a cassette tape.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.